is shining in the midst of the darkness shining. Jesus, light of the world, shine upon us. Set us free by the truth you now bring us. Shine on me. Shine on me. Shine, Jesus, shine. Fill this land with the Father's glory. Blaze, Spirit, blaze. Set our hearts on fire. Flow, river, flow. Flood the nations with grace and mercy. Send forth your word, Lord, and let there be light.
Good morning and welcome to Let the Bible Speak. My name is Alex Meredith. I'm the minister for the Marquette Church of Christ. I'm here today with Brian Poe, who works with the Escanaba Church of Christ, and we have a special 1-hour episode for you here today. Brian, why don't you tell them about it?
All right, good morning. Thank you for listening in. So I'm Brian, the preacher of the Escanaba Church of Christ. Yeah, we are going to be doing a lesson on slowing down. And this lesson is particularly important for me. I don't know if you know about the Enneagram, but in the Enneagram, I am a 3. I am an achiever, which means by nature, I'm always thinking of what to do. I get done with work, I'm at the house, I sit on the couch for 2 seconds, what do I need to do? I always want to do. We got to take time to rest. So that's what this lesson is for me, for you, for us, slowing down.
Yeah, and it's a lesson about rest. It's also a lesson about prioritization and how to organize our time. So you might ask, well, why are we doing this? Why are we doing a lesson on rest and slowing down in the first place? Well, I really think that our society in many ways has become inundated and obsessed with busyness. You know, you have the arrival of things like hustle culture coming into the world where work and constant work and working beyond your limits and beyond your employer's expectation and all of that is something that's prized and valued. And it's sort of led to this almost extreme hyper busyness, you could say. And it's led to this disordered time allotment in our own lives. American culture has always valued hard work in many ways. You know, the annals of American history are full of people who gritted their teeth, did the hard work, and rose to the top. But recently, I think we have turned this virtue into a dangerous obsession. We've given ourselves endless to-do lists. Our calendars look like something that was penned by Tolstoy. And we've set ourselves, and our children, by the way, in a perpetual state of doing. Often to the detriment of our own time, our own health, our own families, the very thing that through our busyness we claim to serve. And sometimes maybe we just have to slow down and stop. Do you know the Mac Davis song? It's called Stop and Smell the Roses.
I do not.
Have you heard of that?
No.
Hey, mister, where are you going in such a hurry? Don't you think it's time you realize there's a whole lot more to life than work and worry? The sweetest things in life are free. And there, right before your eyes, you got to stop and smell the roses. You've got to count your many blessings every day. You're going to find your way to heaven is a rough and rocky road if you don't stop and smell the roses along the way. So, I think this idea of hyper busyness is something that I know I deal with. I know you said you deal with it too. Maybe you deal with it as well. Maybe you've got a schedule that feels like it just never ends. I think that's something that a lot of people are struggling with right now.
Yeah. I think it might trigger a lot of people's minds if you were to sing that song for us.
I am not going to sing that song.
Not going to. And we're not suggesting that business is always a bad thing, because it's not. We're actually encouraged in the Bible to be productive members of society, in your families, in churches, and we'll get into that a little bit later in the lesson. But 1 Thessalonians 4:11 through 12. But also, the Bible also discourages laziness in 1 Timothy 5:8. So what we're really talking about is a balance of and priority of what we're busy doing, because we only have 24 hours in each day.
Yeah, and busyness, what it turns out with is that busyness is really unhealthy when the unimportant takes precedent over that which is important. When I was writing this, I was thinking back to days in college when I know that me and a few roommates really got into this one particular video game, and we stayed up one night and we were playing and we played a match, and then it ended and we're like, you want to do another one? Sure, let's do another one. And then another one, and then another one. And the next thing you know, it was 3 a.m, and we've got classes the next day. I think I had an 8 a.m. class and had very little rest, got to the class, and I was never one to fall asleep in classes, and I was really embarrassed. I was sitting there just, eyes wanting to shut, startling open. Well, the unimportant took precedent over that which is important. And I think that happens a lot of times with people's spiritual health. Things like, and when I say this, these are not inherently bad things, but when things like football and fishing take precedence over being an active part of the church and prayer and things like that, it can become a detriment to not only our spiritual health, but really our health all in all.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, not condemning busyness. There's actually some things in the Bible, several things, just a quick list of things that we can do for our own health. Mm-hmm. And I like what you mentioned. These are actually good for us. Things such as sharing the gospel, taking time in our busyness. We see people at work, we see people at the bank cashing their checks, we see people at the gym, we see people everywhere in our busyness. But can we incorporate sharing the gospel or serving others in the church, finding ways to serving in the church? We just had our VBS, and so many people stepped up and were helping build sets and cleaning and cooking and busy, but busy in a really good, healthy way to serve kids. We can be busy outside of the church. We might find people that need help, or your neighbor may need help working in the yard. So, just busy with those things. And this is all things we are encouraged of in Scripture. We also can be busy in prayer. We get busy, and sometimes we might realize that, wow, I was busy today, but I only got that 2-second prayer. So many things, and reading the Bible more. Psalm 119, I'm preaching on that this Sunday, and the importance of reading Scripture. So there are things in Scripture that if we really truly have to be busy, Scripture gives us a lot of good, healthy things. But this lesson isn't per se what to be busy in. This lesson's about, inner busyness. We got to find time to rest.
Yeah, so it's a matter of what you're keeping yourself busy with. I did want to read this one passage you had brought up in our planning for this. It's Psalm 119, verse 9. So Psalm 119, verse 9 reads like this: "How can a young man keep his way pure? By guarding it according to your word. With my whole heart I seek you." Notice what's happening here. It's not just a retraction from doing anything, it's actively doing something, seeking God. So with my whole heart I seek you. Let me not wander from your commandments. I have stored up your word in my heart. How do you do that, by the way? But by study and committing yourself to the word. I've stored up your word in my heart that I might not sin against you. Blessed are you, O Lord. Teach me your statutes. With my lips I declare all the rules of your mouth. In the way of your testimonies I delight as much as in all riches. I will meditate. Right? Again, another action word here. I will meditate on your precepts and fix my eyes on your ways. I will delight in your statutes. I will not forget your word. So it's not just a matter of stopping everything. It's a matter of reordering and assessing our priorities and saying, well, what are we keeping ourselves busy with? Are we occupying ourselves with things that are going to be eternally beneficial for myself and the people around me, or am I more or less wasting my time, right? Yeah. I tend to think there's a lot of wasted time these days in a lot of different ways. Mm-hmm. So I do think there has been this, you talk about hustle culture coming onto the scene and everything, and I think really that took prominence, you could say all the way back in the beginning of the Industrial Revolution. Hard work and being the hardest worker in your field was always something that was prized. And I do think there has been the beginnings of this pushback against it. You have all this talk of self-care, and you even had a social media trend a few months ago that came up called quiet quitting, which the whole premise was that you only do what you're paid to do, but nothing more, right? You don't want to let your employers manipulate you or take advantage of your willingness to work. And these are all responses to the sort of hyper busyness that a lot of people have found themselves in. But what we're doing essentially is trying to frame this discussion with Scripture and say, all right, well, how do we address this faithfully? Right?
Yeah, absolutely. And the funny thing is, this idea of things have to keep going. Things have to keep going. Motion has to be. And to the point, when we were trying to do the promo, we learned that if there was 10 seconds of silence on the show, alarms would go off, which kind of brings up this idea that society is geared around that we don't want silence. Have you ever stood or sat next to someone that they just said nothing? You gotta speak. Someone's gotta speak. We have to do something, but sometimes it's just good to sit and be silent and take a break and rest.
Yeah, and with the access that we have to noise now, it's really hard to do that. Even I know wife and kids went out kayaking a few months ago, and we were kayaking, and we're not into this, and it's fine if you are, but we saw a family going by, and they had their phone out playing music, while they were kayaking down the lake. And it's like, man, you've got access to this stuff all the time, whether it's music, podcasts, conversation with other people, whatever. How often are we actually taking a break from stuff, whether that's with your senses or practically? So, starting this discussion out in the framework of Scripture, I think we got to start with Sabbath, a discussion of Sabbath. So let's start this discussion of what does the Bible say when it comes to busyness and rest and ordering our priorities here. Let's start with Sabbath. So first of all, the question is, what is Sabbath? Maybe some of you have some notion of what Sabbath is. Maybe that's something that you associate with religious thought but don't really know what it is. Maybe some of you have some preconceived notion of it. Brian, why don't you walk us through just the basics? What is Sabbath?
Well, the Sabbath is really practical. It's rest. It's rest. And we're going to go through some of the details of when it began and what it involved. But really, when we get into the Sabbath, if you could set your preconceived notions aside and just think of rest, a time where God set aside a practical time where he said, you guys need to take this day and rest. So as we talk about the Sabbath in the next few moments, just remember, we're not trying to bring back a Jewish holiday. We're not trying to make you go back to the Old Testament and live how they did 3,500 years ago, but this timeless truth that God designed us to take a rest. Mm-hmm. And that's what we're going to be talking about when we talk about the Sabbath.
And that's literally what Sabbath means. The Hebrew word Shabbat is the word for an intermission, a break, right? Practically, and this is true in many ways in modern Judaism even, but when we talk about Sabbath as it was practiced in the Old Testament, it was a day of rest observed weekly on the seventh day of the week by all Jews. The seventh day was a day of rest. So it actually has its origins back in the very beginning, back in Genesis. So Brian, if you could read Genesis chapter 2, verses 1 through 3, what we see in this creation narrative is the consecration of the seventh day of the week, and we see God doing something very particular on that seventh day.
Absolutely. I'm going to read from the NIV, and it's Thus the heavens and the earth were completed in all their vast array. By the seventh day God had finished the work he had been doing. So on the seventh day he rested from all his work. Then God blessed the seventh day and made it holy, because on it he rested from all the work of creating that he had done.
So yeah, the seventh day in this creation story is blessed and made holy, right? You have the consecration of that seventh day. It's set apart from the others. There's something unique about it. And then way over in Exodus chapter 16, and let me tell you a little bit of what's going on here. The Israelites have just been brought out of Egypt. They were in slavery in Egypt. And this is where you have that incredible story of the 10 plagues. You have the story of Moses leading the people of Israel across the sea where the waters parted and everything else. And right after they're starting their trek into the wilderness on the way to the land of Canaan, God is every day going to provide them with manna, this dew-like bread almost that would fall on the grass every morning. They would go out to gather it. So with that in mind, listen to Exodus chapter 16, starting in verse 22, remembering that the seventh day was set apart. So Exodus 16:22, on the sixth day they gathered twice as much bread, 2 omers each. And when all the leaders of the congregation came and told Moses, he said to them, "This is what the Lord has commanded. Tomorrow is a day of solemn rest, a holy Sabbath to the Lord. Bake what you will bake and boil what you will boil, and all that is left over, lay aside to be kept till the morning." So they laid it aside till the morning, as Moses commanded, and it did not stink, and there were no worms in it. Moses said, "Eat it today, for today is a Sabbath to the Lord. Today you will not find it in the field. 6 days you shall gather it, but on the seventh day, which is a Sabbath, there will be none." And so you have this practice of Sabbath starting during the Exodus period. And then we see it again in Exodus chapter 20, right? Looks like you've got it open there. Exodus chapter 20, starting in verse 8.
One of the 10 Commandments. So the idea we have is that this was extremely important to God. Exodus chapter 20, verse 8 through 11. Remember the Sabbath day by keeping it holy. 6 days you shall labor and do all your work. But the seventh day is a Sabbath to the Lord your God. On it you shall not do any work. Neither you, nor your son or daughter, nor your male or female servant, nor your animals, nor any foreigner residing in your towns. For in 6 days the Lord made the heavens and the earth, the sea, and all that is in them. But he rested on the seventh day. Therefore the Lord blessed the Sabbath day and made it holy.
Yeah, you notice how the Sabbath almost serves as this reflection or this commemoration of God's creation. Maybe that's part of the purpose, right? Is that on our day of rest, we're reminded of the fact that God is over all things and has created all things. And really, when you look at the Sabbath and this pattern throughout Scripture, every time that it's mentioned, it's really simple. It actually is. In Exodus 20, verse 10, I think it was just read, it just says about the Sabbath and how to observe it, you shall not do any work. Simple, right? Exodus 31, verse 15, we haven't read it yet. We'll read it in a little bit. 6 days shall work be done, but the seventh day is a Sabbath of solemn rest. Again, really simple. In Exodus 35:3, you start to get into some details here and there, although really when you look at all of this, it could all be boiled down to don't work. In Exodus 35, verse 3, it says, "You shall kindle no fire in all your dwelling places on the Sabbath." In Numbers chapter 15, there's this story of about this man who is actually executed for gathering sticks on the Sabbath. In Nehemiah chapter 13, one of the minor prophets, he scolds Israel for setting up shops in the temple on the Sabbath day and trying to sell and make a profit, right? Again, all of it really boils down to that one simple thing, though. Don't work. Rest, right? All these other rules that are associated with Sabbath, particularly practice in modern Judaism today. Things like, you can only travel this far. You can't start a car because the ignition creates a spark, and that's synonymous with lighting a fire, and all of this other stuff. Really, all of those are constructs that Jewish writings and later periods wrote and amended in some ways, but those aren't original to what we see in the Old Testament, right? So, Sabbath.
Yeah, I want to comment on that because, this not starting a car. What this is like modern application or rewrites of them trying to adhere based on their conviction. And we're going to share later that we're not bound by the Sabbath. We're going to get there. Right now we're just exploring the concept of the Sabbath. But I did, while we're there, just mention that I've known people. I've known a good friend of mine through college who on Sunday, which would be the Christian day of rest, wouldn't go to any restaurants. He wouldn't buy gas. He wouldn't even go to any store because even though he's not working, it would cause someone else to work. And I never, you may know people like that too. And I would say, that's perfectly fine. If that is his conviction, that's how he wants to honor the Sabbath. So maybe one of you might say, well, I don't want to start my car. If that's how you want to, if that's what your heart is convicted, to honor God. And I don't want to speak against my friend who didn't want to go to any restaurant. Of course, I believe for Alex and I, we believe more that we're not bound. So, we might go to Applebee's for lunch and we drive a car. You know what? I might even mow grass on Sunday. That's my conviction. But I just wanted to point out there when speaking of and toward how other people look at the Sabbath or how they want to bring this rest idea onto their Sunday. This is really between us and God and how we want to honor and do those things. I just want to put that out there. So we're creating and we're pointing out the biblical premise, which is really, as far as I see it, not very detailed. It seems very straightforward and simple. Don't work, rest. And what you're getting into is, all right, well, how do we understand Sabbath's relevance today, which is actually something we're going to talk about in a little bit. But the biblical framework for Sabbath is really simple. Don't work, rest. And it doesn't even say what that rest has to look like, by the way. Probably not gathering sticks, evidently, as we'll see in the book of Numbers. But, what if your rest looks like going to the movies? What if it looks like playing golf? What if it looks like sitting in the corner and staring at the wall all day? Is that restful to you? Okay. It doesn't specify what the rest has to look like. But what we're pointing out right now is that there is this biblical admonition in the Old Testament for the Israelite people to dedicate an entire day to rest. Yeah. Now, and this is something that was taken really seriously, right? Exodus chapter 31. Exodus chapter 31, starting in verse 13, listen to how strong this language is. Okay, Exodus 31, starting in verse 13, and we're going to read through verse 15. You are to speak to the people of Israel, this is God speaking to Moses, and say, above all, so this is pretty important, above all, you shall keep my Sabbaths. For this is a sign between me and you throughout your generations, that you may know that I, the Lord, sanctify you. You shall keep the Sabbath, because it is holy for you. Everyone who profanes it shall be put to death. Whoever does any work on it, that soul shall be cut off from among his people. 6 days shall work be done, but the seventh day is a Sabbath of solemn rest, holy to the Lord. Whoever does any work on the Sabbath shall be put to death. You get the impression this matters a little bit, right? And that also helps us to see the image when you start reading into the Gospels. Yeah. And there Jesus is just picking some grain, him and his disciples, and the Pharisees come and, what are you doing? And it's like, what do those guys think they're doing, questioning Jesus or questioning him about why he healed that person? Well, because this is rooted deep, and it was a big deal in the Old Testament. And the Pharisees were hanging on to the old commands. They didn't know that Jesus was coming to change it up just a little bit. He was going to fulfill the law. But the Pharisees were just doing it to the letter of the law from this text. And it was a big deal to them.
Why don't you read that section in Numbers 15? This is the story that we have played out of the man who was gathering sticks, apparently to his own detriment. So this is Numbers chapter 15, starting in verse 32 and going through verse 36.
All right. I got to move my note out of here. All right. So Numbers 15:32. While the Israelites were in the wilderness, a man was found gathering wood on the Sabbath. Those who found him gathering wood brought him to Moses and Aaron and the whole assembly. And they kept him in custody because it was not clear what should be done to him. Then the Lord said to Moses, the man must die. The whole assembly must stone him outside the camp. So the assembly took him outside the camp and stoned him to death as the Lord commanded Moses.
That's a story. Now, you might be wondering, why is this so important to God? I mean, why is it that violating the Sabbath was an offense punishable by death? Well, for one thing, the Sabbath tended to be the sort of spiritual litmus test. It tended to be that when Israel was doing what it was supposed to do, when it remembered the commandments that had been given, when it was really committed to God, they were following the Sabbath. And it was when things were problematic that you see them not being so concerned with Sabbath being observed and everything else. And that's actually what Nehemiah addresses, and I think it's Nehemiah 13 that I brought up. You had Israel that was basically, they had forgotten God, they had forgotten the law, and they didn't really care so much about it. So in one way, Sabbath is sort of this marker of, are you committed or not, right? And if you're not, there's sort of a larger problem that's represented by that violation. And I think maybe the second part of this is that God knows how desperately we need it.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely. Going back to the point of it's a simple command. For example, go back to the garden. You might say, well, what was the importance of not eating that one fruit? It wasn't really about the fruit.
Right.
In that particular case, it was, can you at least buy in and obey me to that smallest degree? That's the only thing God asked of them. So when it comes to the importance of the Sabbath, it came down to obedience. And can you just keep this one day?
Well, yeah, and it's not just obedience, right? It's obedience with a purpose.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and sometimes I think this is, maybe oftentimes, this is true when you look at all of these laws in the Old Testament. I know Brian's going to talk about this in a little bit too. But when you look at a lot of these laws, oftentimes they don't exist for their own sake. It's not that God is just arbitrarily making up rules and saying, well, you better do this or else. No, there is a purpose to it, right?
Yeah.
I want to share with you a couple of things I came across in researching busyness and rest and everything else. There is a company in the UK called 4 Day Week Global. They're part of this initiative to change the 5-day work week to a 4-day work week. Sounds pretty good, doesn't it? So they had done this study in 2022 from the months of June to December. And what they did is they gathered 3,000 employees from 61 different companies. And they shifted them from a 5-day-a-week work week to a 4-day-a-week work week, with the understanding and with the agreement that these employees will receive 100% of their salary as long as they meet 100% output in their productivity. So they still have to get everything done that they would have gotten done in that 5-day work week, but now they have a 4-day window and they can have a 3-day weekend, right? So that was the agreement. Now, what really came out in that study, which is really shocking, was not only did they meet the requirements of 100% productivity, they exceeded productivity. They were more productive with more rest, and revenue increased, and turnover decreased, right? So more rest apparently has some benefit to it, at least according to the study. There was also an article that appeared in the American Academy of Sleep Medicine journal. It was published by the American Academy of Sleep Medicine in June of 2018. They were talking about the importance of sleep. To all you college students out there, I know I needed to hear this way back when. You know, you stay up some nights and you think, well, man, I really need to get this done. I'm going to stay up an extra hour. I'm going to stay up an extra 2 hours. Go ahead and get this done so that I don't have to do it tomorrow. Well, what they found is that when you stay up an extra 1 to 2 hours into your normal sleep pattern to get more work done, there is a 19% net drop in efficiency and productivity. If you stay up for more than 2 hours, that net drop in efficiency is up to 29%, which means that on those nights when you think, maybe I'll just stay up a little bit longer, it's actually more productive to go to sleep and then to wake up the next morning well rested, and you'll actually be more productive and be more efficient in your time. So that was just something that was interesting to me when we're looking at this idea of rest and the practical benefits of it. Like, yeah, it actually matters, doesn't it?
You know, I'm a few years out of school longer than you are, okay? Just a couple.
Several.
And what's that?
Nothing.
70?
Several.
Several. Well, you know, I just got several more years of wisdom under my belt. Anyway, so it's funny though, because I still have those memories. You are right. As you're 19, 20, 21, and you're in college, you're grinding at the bit, you're writing those papers, and if you get down to the wire, the first thing that you think you can put out of your schedule because you need more time, it's not going out to eat, it's not playing games, it's not going out with your friends, it's sleep. I don't need sleep. It's just so funny, you know, you don't understand the importance of it. So the first thing a college student puts out of the way, I don't need sleep. Well, I think these statistics are amazing. Like 30%. An extra 2 hours. I usually go to bed close to about midnight. If I put out an extra 2 hours because I'm killing my next day by 30%, that's not worth it. That's not worth it. That's like, wow, that's not worth it. But you know, it really shows the importance of this command, because he talked about, you know, it's just a simple command. And God doesn't give stupid commands. Sorry if I can't use that word. But it's a practical command. I got 2 boys. They're 7 and 9. And you got your children too. We have to make rules, you know. And I don't make foolish rules. I don't make rules like, hey, don't walk across the living room. Like, I don't want you doing that. I want you to walk around. I don't make stupid commands. It just doesn't make sense. But I make commands like, don't jump off. These are real rules I had to make. Like, don't jump off the end table. It's like, my son just last week just launches off the end table. It's like, I don't want the doctor bills, or don't play in the front yard, or don't ride your bike without a helmet, or all these rules. We make rules like, you know, don't be taking the scissors to your rooms, and if you do, bring them right back when you're done. And just last night, I got a little bad sleep last night because my son comes upstairs and he's like, Mom, Dad, can I come up? And I guess he had the kitchen scissors in his room. We did not know. He's not supposed to. But we have that rule because, well, he got cut. And he actually had to go to OSF, and he got 3 stitches in his finger last night. And we make these rules because we want to keep them healthy and safe. Yeah. And God made this rule. It comes down to the practical, this idea that God made this rule to take this day, just one out of your 7 days, to get rest because, well, he did not need it in creation, but he set this precedent because he knew that we need this rest. It's scientifically true that we need rest.
And you look at this and say, well, what in the world does Sabbath have to do with me or with Christianity or anything? Because, yes, Sabbath is part of the old law, part of the Mosaic law, which is no longer binding. Romans 10:4, Christ is the end of the law, right? And yes, Christians are actually in the New Testament it's never mentioned that they observed Sabbath after the resurrection account at the end of the Gospels. Paul does actually attend 2 Sabbath ceremonies, services at synagogues in Antioch of Pisidia. You see that in Acts chapter 13. But he's only doing that because he's trying to get to the Jews and preach Christ to them, right? But we never see them actually observing it after the resurrection. And yes, the church from its inception, too, they held their primary weekly gathering on Sunday. We see that in Acts chapter 20, verse 7, when Paul, with the Christians in Troas, says he, on the first day of the week, he met with them to break bread, right? We know that this is the day that Jesus rose, on Sunday. Luke chapter 24, verses 1 through 3, on the first day of the week, right? This became known, by the way, Sunday became known as the Lord's Day. It's actually called that not only in Christian history, in Revelation chapter 1, verse 10, as early as John the Exile writing. Sunday is a special sacred day on which the saints commemorate the death, burial, and resurrection of Christ. And so you might look at it and go, well, why are we talking about Sabbath? Well, because Sabbath reflects an important and timeless physiological and spiritual reality, which is essentially that you are a better person when you get the rest that you need. Mark 2, chapter 27 says, and I think this is very poignant, the Sabbath was made for man. It's actually a blessing.
You are a better person. You are a better person. You know,
and you're a more utilizable person for the kingdom, right?
Yeah.
And that's a big part of it too.
How much more practical can you get? And I think we all know this idea that if you don't get rest the night before, you know, whether you agree with it or not, you're probably not the best person to really hang around with. I know it's true for me. If I go to bed at 3 in the morning because of whatever, because I might be sick or because my back hurts, the next day I may respond to you a little shorter than usual. And my productivity, the things I want to get done, everything about me and what I want to do is better when I get proper rest.
And so that's part of the solution when we talk about, you know, the diagnosis of society, which is that, you know, we're too busy, or at least we think we're too busy. So part of the solution is to get some rest. That's part of the prescription, you could say, for the diagnosis. Now, the other part of the solution, though, to this society obsessed with busyness is not just getting some rest, but it's making time for the things that really do matter. Right?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it comes down to what's valuable. Mm-hmm. And valuable really is a subjective idea, you know. But if we really just assess our day and the things we do, the things we invest in, the things we spend time doing, you know, TikTok or one of my downfalls, I'm going to really shoot myself at the, you know, Xbox. You know, there's some games that are fun, you know. But at the end of the day, what is valuable? What will enrich in your life? I'm not saying there's never time to scroll TikTok, or I'm not saying there's never time to get on Xbox. You got to make time for some of those things. But what will enrich in your life spiritually, emotionally? What will strengthen your family life? You know, some people, they go out there and get 2 or 3 jobs and they're making you know, 6 figures. Oh, wonderful. You got the bank, it's padded, you are set, your kids are set. But they don't know you. You know, so it's like you got to balance the value of what you're looking for. Okay, my bank account might be valuable, but is my family investment valuable? What about the things that go into tomorrow? You know, my investment. Okay, so going into tomorrow, I got my bank account, which is not, I don't want you to get the wrong idea, it's not that valuable. But am I doing the things that matter into tomorrow? You know, the investments you can do with your family. So we're talking about rest, but we're also talking about prioritizing and the things that you just let fall off your busy schedule to create that rest, leaving the things that create a valuable life. And then at the end of the day, you might find that you actually did less, but because you filled it with the things of value, you will realize, like, wow, that's a full day. Maybe not a 10 or 12 hour day, but the time you did spend was valuable.
You know, you think about what would happen if you decided, you know, for the next month, I'm not going to eat or drink anything at all. You're not even going to do a fast with water or anything. You're just going to stop. What would happen if you did that for a month? You would die, right? Plain and simple, you wouldn't make it. Food and water are essential for the body to survive. And the same thing is true with your spiritual body. And I'm not a big fan of parsing out this idea of the physical and the spiritual, because I think in many ways it's actually more cohesive than that. We are spiritual beings, and what happens to us spiritually affects us physically and eternally and all of that. But you think about this abstractly for a minute. If you don't feed your spiritual body, it will die too. And that's really dangerous, because the physical body needs the spiritual body almost as badly as it needs food and water. In Matthew chapter 4, verse 4, Jesus was being tempted in the wilderness. You have this whole story there, but we won't get into that right now. He quotes from Deuteronomy chapter 8, verse 3, and he says, "Man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that comes from the mouth of God." So you get the sense that there are physical things that we need in life to survive, but we need more than that. If the physical is all we have, and life is just this constant pursuit of satiating our physical desires, we are going to be left struggling and empty. And I really do think that is actually what's happened in our society today. So I believe that the United States has a spiritual health epidemic on its hands. I want to go through a few statistics with you and share these, because I think this is immediately relevant to our conversation. So it's been reported, and if you would like the backings for these statistics, feel free to contact me. I just don't have time to share it all right now. 29%, which it works out to about 96 million adults, report being depressed at some point in the past or in the present. That's in the United States. 96 million adults being depressed in the past or present. 17%, about 44 million adults, reported feeling lonely, quote, yesterday. So when they took this survey, at some point they were lonely yesterday, right? 44%, this is really shocking. 44% of high school students report being significantly, quote, sad or hopeless at some point in the past or in the present. In 2021, 48,183 suicide deaths in the United States, 1.7 million suicide attempts. All those numbers have risen significantly in the last decade or so. Now, you think of all that going on, and meanwhile, here's what else is happening. 45% of adults pray daily. That's down from 58% back in 2007. 39% read the Bible more than once a year. That's down from 50% back in 2021. 65% of the United States population claims to be Christian. That's down from 73% in 2009. 26% of Americans say that they are religiously unaffiliated. That's up from 17% in 2009. Now, for all of you statistic buffs out there, correlation is not the same as causation. It's not as if you can just look at these two things going on and saying, oh, well, this is definitely causing that. But man, that's a big correlation, right? Yeah. That's a really big correlation. It's huge. And, you know, you think about the sort of hopelessness that a lot of people are feeling right now. And you know, I'm thinking, how can you not be hopeless if the way that you see life is just, let's get the food we need, let's get the drink we need, and let's have as much fun as possible. It's sort of like the writer of Ecclesiastes. Writer of Ecclesiastes looked back on all these wonderful things that he had in life, all the pleasure he could want, he is apparently married to all these different women. He had all these wives, he had all of this stuff, and he looked back on it and he said, what is there in that really? What fulfillment is there in that really, right? And I think that's somewhat a representation of where a lot of people in the U.S. are today. We spend a lot of our time doing things that frankly just aren't fulfilling.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, and the statistics show, Ecclesiastes, we have a biblical example, we have statistics, the hustle and bustle of society, gotta go, and do and accomplish and build. It doesn't work. If you're looking for fulfillment, if you're looking for something lasting inside, if you're looking for something that makes you feel like you mean something, the hustle and bustle isn't doing it. That's really the message I get here. So we have to get this balance of the proper rest and the value of what we are doing.
Yeah, so let's take a minute to talk about, because I don't want this whole thing to be stop doing what you're doing. I want to give you some things to fill your time with. And I think a good place to go is Matthew chapter 6. Matthew chapter 6. We're not going to read through this whole section right now, but if you've got a Bible with you, I want you to notice something in this chapter. Matthew chapter 6, this is Jesus in his famous Sermon on the Mount, and he starts chapter 6 by talking about giving, by talking about praying, and talking about fasting. All of these, you could say, are spiritual disciplines. These are things that the holy people do, so to say, right? But the main point that he actually makes about them is when you do these things, don't make a big deal out of it and make sure that everybody else around you knows, because that's not really the point of doing them. The point of living a life dedicated to God is not so that other people around you look at you and say, wow, look how holy he is. That's a really righteous person. Mm-hmm. That's not the point at all. In fact, it's entirely against the point. And so the main point that he makes here is do what you need to do and do it in secret. You don't need to make a big show of it. God knows that you're doing it and you'll be rewarded for it. Mm-hmm. But I want to point out a little minutia here. If you look at Matthew chapter 6, verse 2, thus, when you give to the needy, Matthew chapter 6, verse 5, and when you pray, Matthew chapter 6, verse 16, and when you fast, these are expectations. It's not, if you happen to get time today to pray, if you get the chance, Brian, just maybe if you could do it this way. No, it's when you do this, because you're going to do this. So when you do this, when you give to the needy, when you pray, when you fast, so there are these expectations that the people of God are not only going to rest, but they're actually going to actively fill their time with things that are worthwhile to their own eternal destiny, you could say, and valuable to the kingdom of God as a whole.
I like how I mentioned the worthwhile, because like we already mentioned, people are striving to find things to fill their time that are worthwhile, that leave them feeling good. We all are trying to feel good. And if you really were to think about these things, this is that. This is God showing us what to do that will leave you feeling worthwhile. Helping the needy, giving some time up to help someone, spending time in prayer, even fasting. We can go a while in fasting, the whole subject, but each of these have a self-healing, in a sense, self-satisfying attributes about them. So God is trying to help us, hey, you should try these things, because these things are they will satisfy.
Yeah, and even if that's not the primary purpose of them. And I mean, you could say that really in pursuit of spiritual disciplines, maybe the intent should not be, well, I just want to feel good about myself. But that happens to be a good secondary result of them, right? This is what we talked about when we were going through the book of Philippians, where Paul at the end of Philippians was talking about his contentment. And we talked about how Paul's contentment had nothing to do with his current situation. It had to do with his contributions to the kingdom, and it had to do with his service to the people around him to help them plan for eternity, essentially, right? So there's this fulfillment that comes in service, right, that you don't get through other things, right? Other things to fill your time with. In Hebrews chapter 10, starting in verse 23, I'll read this. Let us hold fast the confession of our hope without wavering, for he who promised is faithful. And let us consider how to stir up one another to love and good works, not neglecting to meet together, as is the habit of some, but encouraging one another, and all the more as you see the day drawing near. So we see the value of coming together as a church body, encouraging one another, building one another up, spurring one another on to do good works. Those are valuable things to fill your time with. So again, it's not just about rest. It's about let's take the invaluable things in life. And is there value, by the way, in Xbox? Is there value? Is there value in going to or watching a football game? Is there value in all of that?
Or
sure.
value in golfing?
Sure. when I'm not hitting. Are there value in these things? Yes, but not when they come at the expense of the things that are eternally important. And maybe those things are a means by which we get the rest that we need, so that we can then go out and do the work of God. Maybe that's the case, in which case, yes, there is value there. But it's not just value for its own sake, right?
Yeah.
Sorry, I know you were going somewhere before I
I lost my train of thought.
So yeah, the value of the spiritual disciplines, things like praying, fasting, giving, the value of being together as a church body. Romans chapter 15, verse 4. Actually, I see you've got it open there. Why don't you read that?
Well, I had Hebrews, actually.
So
if
like Romans from here.
I'll just say a quick note in Hebrews, because we're talking about value and spending time doing things that have value. And some people, they lose the idea of what the gathering, going to church, whether it's being in a building or wherever it might be, because the focus is not like where or what location, but the idea is the gathering of God's people. That's what the church is all about. And it says here, don't forsake it, that you may encourage one another. And the idea of going to church is to be encouraged and to encourage. So if you want to do something of value, for Christians, Sunday morning or whenever they go to church, and that not only is a really good time of rest, but it's a time of rest that feeds your soul.
Yes.
And an opportunity to pour into someone else as well.
And again, you could say the primary purpose there is to give praise to God. A secondary purpose might be to encourage other people, to affirm them in the faith and to spur them on. But then there is that sort of tertiary benefit, which is that you are actually fed by it. And God does actually have a purpose for giving you these commands, right? That's bigger than that. So make time for the things that matter, right? The example that I always gave, and actually I use this on somebody lately. We were talking about making plans for one day or another, and he said, well, I think I'm going to be busy that day. We talked about how, it seems like a lot of people are, it's just hard to make plans with people these days. And maybe you look at your own schedule and you say, well, I don't have time to pray. I don't have time to do these other things. Well, here's this. If somebody walked up to you today and said, and maybe you're a Lions fan, maybe you're a Packers fan, but here are 2 totally free tickets to the game this weekend. I want you to take them. You can have them. No cost to you. But maybe you had a few things planned this weekend. Would you find a way to go? Are you really too busy or do you not want to do the work that's necessary to reorder things, right? So when we're looking at these spiritual disciplines, I think it's important to reiterate the extreme eternal importance of these. And we're not just talking about, oh, you're going to or not going to get in heaven because you do this or that. That's not really the point here. The point is your well-being, your eternal well-being, and the eternal well-being of the people around you is dependent on your ability to make time for these things, right? It's dependent on your ability to keep yourself healthy in many ways so that you can then be of service to others, be of service to the kingdom of God, and all of that. So make time for the things that matter. Maybe this is a chance for you to take a good look at your schedule and say, this belongs, this doesn't, this I can do without. Let's make time for this and this and this. I know one last thing we wanted to get to, and we'll close out with this, is let's read from Psalm 46. I do want to mention right before we read, we're not going to go through everything right now. We do have resources available for you, by the way. You can go to letthebiblespeak.net. A lot of those are available to you anytime. You can send us a message through the website there. There's a little messenger icon. Just make sure that if you do, you send us your address so that we can get those to you. Maybe you don't know where to start with prioritizing your life and your schedule and your eternity and everything else. We would love to help you with that. I don't pretend to have all the answers, but we would love to serve you however we can. And maybe you're struggling and looking for help materially, spiritually. Come be part of the church here in Marquette and Escanaba. We would love to see you there if you want to be a part of that. We're going to close with reading of Psalm 46 here. This really powerful line in here, be still. What a message for us today, people who have seldom heard silence.
Yeah. Want the whole chapter?
Sure.
Psalm 46. God is our refuge and strength, an ever-present help in trouble. Therefore we will not fear, though the earth give way, and the mountains fall into the heart of the sea. Though its waters roar and foam, and the mountains quake with their surging. There is a river whose stream make glad the city of God, the holy place where the Most High dwells. God is within her. She will not fall. God will help her at break of day. Nations are in uproar, kingdoms fall. He lifts his voice, the earth melts. The Almighty, the Lord Almighty is with us. The God of Jacob is our fortress. Come and see what the Lord has done, the desolations he has brought on the earth. He makes wars cease. To the ends of the earth he breaks the bow and shatters the spear. He burns the shields with fire. He says, be still and know that I am God. I will be exalted among the nations. I will be exalted in the earth. The Lord Almighty is with us. The God of Jacob is our refuge.
And notice, it wasn't just be still. It's also come, behold the works of the Lord. Yeah. Look at what God has done in the world. Isn't it incredible? Well, I want to thank you for joining us in this 1 hour special today. We hope you have a wonderful week. May God bless you in all that you do. Thank you so much, Brian, for having this conversation.
Thank you. Thank you for having us. God bless you, and God bless your week.
The Father's glory blaze, Spirit blaze, set our hearts on fire. Flow, river, flow, flood the nations with grace and mercy. Send